Good evening, everyone. School of Struggle, podcast number 4 with Zah Azmi, Mark Fator, and I'm Chris M. Today we're going to be talking about sales, something all three of us know a world about. Super excited about this one. And I just want to firstly start this by saying thank you to everyone who's taken the time to listen to the first 3, downloaded everything, and leave a review. I'd actually like to ask every single one of you who has found some form of value in this to please leave a review, screenshot it, post it in your Insta story and tag us, and share the link to all your friends to listen to. If you've received any value out of this, I would really appreciate it if you could share that, because that's you're doing a service to the world if you can share the knowledge with us at the same time too. How are we going today, boys?
Good. Glad to be
here. Yeah. So makes 3 of us then, doesn't it? Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about sales, the art of it, what it does for you, what it does for your business, and how you can actually sell yourself to better yourself in your own personal life as well. You know what I mean? So
like a dodgy car salesman,
like a dodgy car salesman. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, used car salesman. We know a couple, and I think that they're the best people in the world.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks of sales. Like when people think of sales, they think, the dodgy sales rep or sales.
They actually think negatively. The second the word sales comes up, they all think negative, and I think I really hope this can actually change the perception of that today, because I live and breathe it.
I used to think like that. Like when I used to think sales, I used to think, these annoying people. You know what I mean? That just try and sell you stuff. You know?
On that, one thing that I will mention, I still hate being sold because no one can sell me. You know what I mean? Seriously, I still hate being sold because I've got a million people. You know, you go into a department store or something like that, or you a clothing shop. Yep. And these guys are just like, what do you want? I'm like, whoa. That's not selling, that's just abusing. Far out. You know what I mean? I'm still waiting for someone to walk up and sell me correctly. Yeah. And then I'll be happy, you know what I mean? I'll probably buy. I'm a hard sell because I know all the tricks and tips and all that stuff. And I will be closer to buying off someone that's actually done their research and knows how to sell better. Because I'm going like, you're actually doing it right. Please keep going. I want to know what your next pitch is.
Someone that's so passionate about the product as well.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, being passionate about the product's one thing, but it's really just about harvesting the information. You know what I mean? Like you can sell anything to anyone as long as you get the right information out of them. You know what I mean? I think that's the art, the strategy, and all sorts of stuff too, which we probably will get into a little bit more of today. But as mentioned, I think I just wanted to try and change the perception on salesman itself. It's not a bad thing. It's actually sensational. As mentioned, it's what pays me. I sell and I teach people how to sell better. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? So,
but that's your field, Chris. So for a lot of other people that are listening today, you know, they're probably thinking, well, how does sales, relate to what I'm doing?
Oh, of course.
I truly believe that sales is a skill that everyone needs to
100%
acquire.
Yeah.
You're constantly selling yourself through life. From when you're a baby, screaming at your mum and dad that you want ice cream before you finish your dinner. Like you're trying to sell yourself, right? That you want that dessert, right? So you're trying to convince your parents. For me, selling is not purely dollars. Like a lot of people think sales is dollars, where for me sales is building trust, creating a lifetime worth of value, and a long-term relationship.
Of course,
right? So, one of the I know you've got this a bit structured, Chris, but just to start off with, like when I first started sort of getting into sales and noticing how important it was to my businesses, right, was I read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? And it just changed my whole perception of sales. Like it was never about the money. It's always about the other person and what they want.
Correct.
And how, I can get them to like me, right?
Correct.
And it's about building that long-term relationship and building that trust. And
providing 51% of the value in every conversation.
That's right. And forgetting about myself.
Correct.
Because when we think, a lot of people think, when they're in a sales role, they've just got to hit the numbers. You know what I mean?
Super selfless if you do it correctly. Super selfless.
You got to think about the other person, the other party, you know? And, I think a lot of people forget that because, we walk into retail stores today, for example, and people are constantly just, the workers, that is, they're constantly just worried about themselves and how they can hit targets, right?
Sort of stuff.
And they forget about us.
Correct.
As in the consumer.
Yeah. Leading back to what I was saying.
That's right.
Learn how to sell properly and you'll probably be getting your targets quicker and all sorts of
That's
stuff as
right.
well. But yeah, I couldn't agree more, and that was something I was going to delve into as well. Like actually learning sales skill for your own personal life will bring you so much more. Like it will help you get whatever you want in a quicker respect and all sorts of stuff as well. I believe you can achieve anything you want in life if you have the right sales skills, because you can negotiate. If you know how to negotiate,
It gets you very far in life.
extremely far. You know what I mean? If you want something off your electrical bill and you can negotiate that, well, it's a sales skill. You got to find out what value you can provide to them. If say you want some money off your electrical bill, work out with them a longer term contract for a shorter dollar spend with them.
Give them more business.
Exactly. Give them more business, or refer a friend.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Refer a friend and ask for a discount. You know what I mean? That automatically is giving you a sales skill that will be better for you, that you can use for your whole life. But Zah, I love that you mentioned it, and I want to definitely delve into the whole relationship part of selling, because when it comes down to it, good selling is building relationships.
Yeah.
And for me, working as a sales rep for many years, and then in retail sales and many different other forms as well, I found that some of the customers that I was selling to, or I don't like calling them customers, I like calling them clients, because you want their return business and you want to be providing value to them, so they become a client. Some of my clients are now good friends because I built that relationship. We connected, and they saw the value that I was providing them.
You don't need to sell to them anymore.
I don't need to sell
they'll
to
just
them.
buy.
They'll buy it. They ask what they should buy. Is that enough?
Yeah.
And that's purely just by building a relationship, finding out about your customer, finding out what they do on a weekend, find out if they have kids, find out how many people are in their household, find out why they're buying. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's going to buy that van, it's probably to make sure that it's going to be a safe car trip for them, their family, and everyone involved. So find out why they're purchasing. If this is a selling aspect, find out why they're purchasing by building a relationship. Find out who they are, what they're there for, and you'll probably move you probably move forward faster than anyone else in your whole organization if you do that as well. But building relationships is a massive thing. I'm glad that you brought that up too, you know what I mean? Anyone got a story in a relationship from the selling side?
Well, I guess how everyone who's listening today could probably relate to, they probably want to hear a story, right?
Yeah.
And, they probably don't want to hear some boring sales story that we've experienced in one of our businesses. And I always like to use analogies, whether it's the animal kingdom or the fitness analogies.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the analogy of actual relationships.
Yeah.
So, boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, right? So I used to work in the nightclub industry, and when I was single, I wasn't really big on one-night stands, right? Because I like to sort of build the relationship with the other girl and then, go in for the target, like maybe 3 or 4 meetings down the track.
Connection.
Yeah, that's right. Where a lot of people, right, a lot of these horny guys, they go into the nightclubs, right? And I see it all the time because I was surrounded by it. They go in and they go, all right, I want to get laid tonight.
Yeah.
Right? And then they go hard.
Yeah.
They sell themselves, and most of the time they strike out, and they go home with nothing, right? But what I used to do, and this is before I met my now wife, what I used to do was, because I was in the industry and I was in it like 3 times a week or 4 times a week, I would scope out the place, and then if I'd see someone that I took interest in, then I would strike up a conversation with them. I wouldn't go in for the kill straight away. I would buy them a drink, get to know them, ask questions, build the relationship, and then you know what? I might see them the next weekend.
Yeah.
And then I might see them the weekend after that. And you know what? On the 4th time that I've seen them and bought the drinks that 4th time with them, I've built such a good relationship with them. I don't even need to ask for anything. They're just going to give it up.
Correct.
Right?
Definitely.
Sold.
Correct.
Now that's something that everyone can kind of relate to,
Of course,
right?
of
And
course.
it's like anything in life. Like a lot of people think, I don't need to know sales.
Yeah.
Why do I need to know sales?
Yeah.
Sales for? It's not what I do in my job. Well,
Correct.
you go to work, for example. If you got a job, you go to work. You've got to sell yourself to someone.
Correct.
Right? You've got to sell yourself to a client. You've got to sell yourself to your boss. You've got to sell yourself to whoever you're working for to get the return, because you're getting paid, right? For example, for me, like I'm a property developer. My role in the company is to find the money for the developments, right? I've got to sell myself to investors.
Yeah.
Like, I spent all day today selling myself to investors.
Yeah.
You know, I go to the bank and I've got to build a relationship with them. I can't just go in there and say, look, give me $10 million.
Yeah.
Right? I've got to build the trust.
Yeah.
Right? And sell myself to them. And, you know, a lot of people go, well, that's not sales. You're just going and asking for money. Well, I have to sell myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've got to get them to like me, you know?
Yeah,
so
you're showing them the value in them giving you the money.
That's right. So we've got business bankers who we've been dealing with for the past, 6-7 years because we've built that relationship, and now I can pick up the phone, say, look, Mr. Business Banker, I need X amount of dollars for a development. Can you help me out? And they'll go, yep, no problem. Your track record's with us.
Yep.
We'll give you the cash,
Definitely.
right? So, it can apply. So the point is, selling can apply to everything in life.
Of course. And I couldn't agree more there. And the relationship thing that you touched on as well is very, very, very true. And that's just basing back on that. There's 4 or 5 touch points to actually make a sale with pretty much any customer in this day and age anyway, because actually now with the rise of social media and all of this stuff, the new data came out, it's about 20 touch points. So someone needs to see a brand or a product 20 times before they actually purchase it. So that's quadrupled in 5 years. They need to see it 20 times, or they need to hear about it 20 times before they even purchase. So it might be different in the relationship dating scene and all that stuff, you know what I mean? But actual purchasing of product now, you need to see it 20 times before you can actually actually purchase now. So if you're selling a product and people aren't buying straight away, don't be stressed by any means. You need to take time to build trust within the customer for them to purchase a rapport or anything. Even if you aren't actually selling to them directly face to face, if you're selling in a digital space or something like that, they still need to see it a certain amount of times before you can actually get that sale across the line. So providing value. So just on selling digitally, I'll go one thing. Try to do some videos on tutorials on how you can use the product in an easier way that can actually provide value to their lives. That's a way that you can actually get a selling. You can sell a product to someone you never met before, literally, in a digital space. That's a good way to do it, and I've found a few people that are doing it lately really, really, really well. But with the 20 different touch points on a certain product, if you're going to go buy the new Coca-Cola just came out. It's Coke No Sugar, I think it's called. They've canned the Coca-Cola Zero.
Is Zero not around?
Zero's gone now. I'm actually a little bit disappointed.
Is it the same thing? Sugar?
There's no sugar in all of the stuff, but it does taste different. I'm not a fan personally.
Really?
But I had to see it a multiple amount of times before I actually tried it. Because I'm sitting there going, I'm a bit of it. Actually, I'm actually a Pepsi Max fan, but a lot of these places don't stock it.
Yeah.
And bit of a diehard.
Took you a while
fan.
to transition over, yeah.
Took me a while. I'm going, I don't want to try it. Then I've gone, I've seen so much market for it. I'm just going to try it.
Step out of your comfort zone.
Step out of your comfort zone, you know what I mean? I know it's a pretty silly way to think about it, but it took me I probably had to see it 20 times before I purchased one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing with that too. So if you're trying to sell a product, if you're trying to sell a service, you got to speak to these people that many times. And over that time, if you can build a relationship within 20 touch points now, whether that's on social media or in person, face to face, and all that stuff. If you can get 20 little bits of information out of them, turn that into a proposal, fuck me, you'll have a cracker proposal to give to them at the end of that 20 time, right? That is selling. Finding out little key bits of information every time that you speak to them, and regurgitating it to them in a proposal that will actually have them go, wow, if I don't buy, I'm silly. You know what I mean? That's what I do in my day-to-day life when I'm trying to sell something, because even if it's not actual product, if it's just, wanting to get something off your electrical bill, you know what I mean? That is a good way to do it. But moving on, what are some strategies that you guys use to help make your sales process quicker?
I think, sorry, Mark, did you want to
No, you go.
One of the most important things is having a good product.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because
very true.
I think in this day and age, you can't have a shit product.
No, you can't.
Right? And I think we've touched on this in an earlier podcast.
You get found out super quickly too.
Yeah, because social media, internet, everyone's talking to each other.
Correct.
Everything's transparent. Everything's authentic now. So, you can't hide behind this, creative marketing and then all of a sudden just go ask for a short-term sort of sale, right?
Correct.
Because people are going to find you out. You might win that short-term sale. You might make that quick dollar, but it's not going to be long-term for you, right? It's not going to, people will soon find out that they don't hold value in that sale. So they won't come back. You won't get that retention. So, gone are the days where there were shit products out there, and you just get these shit hot salesmen to sell these products, and you just get a great marketing campaign